Well, hello, Mr. Pope. Excited to talk to you today. I'm a big student of the UFO game. Watch a lot of Skinwalker Ranch. I think that's probably my favorite series. Probably have studied it often. I think it's hard my minor in college was history. It's hard to look at historical buildings and historical artifacts and not kind of think, where did a lot of this stuff come from? So I think it's a natural question to talk about, did life come from the stars above or whatever? And you've been on the front of it. Your bios are pretty impressive. Like, just the fact that you get to say that you work for the Ministry of Defense. I mean, that's a pretty badass term. Can you tell us a little bit about how it came to be, the connection between your career and becoming a UFO expert?
Sure thing. Well, I was a civilian employee at the British Ministry of Defense, which is essentially the UK equivalent of the DoD here in the United States. So you get posted around every few years. And over the course of my 21 years there, I've done all sorts of things, ranging from personnel policy and finance through to counterterrorism. And for much of the early 90s, I was posted to the so-called UFO Desk, which was essentially, my job was to handle the subject for the British government and to assess the defense, national security and safety of flight issues. So was it, because you would hear, like, if just thinking out the box, like, oh, I got assigned to the UFO desk, I got an easy week of work because, there's no, most people don't believe or not believe, or it's not necessarily taken seriously. But there has been a significant change in terms of how people are look at UFOs. So when you first were told, like, hey, you're going to work on the UFO department, were you skeptical? Were you kind of like, what is this, a side promotion? Did you look at it like, oh, why is this department even here? I had mixed feelings, yes. I mean, I was in the junior managerial grade at the time, and those of us who really wanted to get on and get up, we had our eye on, for example, jobs in SecDef's office. Now, I didn't get that. I got the UFO desk. Obviously, I thought it was going to be interesting. I didn't quite know what to expect. I didn't have any real knowledge of the subject. I didn't have any strong beliefs, but it certainly turned out to be an eye-opening and, I guess, life-changing experience. And like you say, recently, certainly in the United States, this whole subject has gone from fringe to mainstream. I guess I was a little ahead of that curve, but it was interesting nonetheless. Well, because you think about when you hear UFOs, or, I think they tried to change the title for the while. What was it? UAP. UAP. Like, nah, we're not having it. We're not going to switch it on us. But whenever they change the name of something, that means they're trying to figure it out, how to present it. There's a lot of leaks and there was a lot of famous. So hard to believe what's real and not real on social media and stuff. But I believe it was Canadian Parliament they were having a meeting, and one of the guys, he was basically describing the Greys, and he was talking about relationships that he had with aliens during his time in the Canadian government. So we've heard some pretty outlandish things. Again, there's this series in the United States called Skinwalker Ranch, where they're studying the phenomenon of orbs, a lot of orbs, and looks like they cut through. They have little wormholes or black tunnels or whatever, black holes, and they're kind of, I'm kind of hooked on that. When you see all the different stuff now, everything is a UFO, everything is an extra. When you first started what year did it change for you where you were like, because if you did see something, were you ever afraid of your career to say, hey, I've got a report here or a story, this checks out? Were you ever like, oh, I can't say that because, I don't want to be considered fringe or weird or strange? You had to tread carefully, for sure. I mean, our kind of party line, I guess you would say, was to play down the true extent of our interest in this and our involvement. And when I say play it down, I mean not just with the public, but also with the media and with the British Parliament even. So, and we had this soundbite which was really that we said that the phenomenon was of no defense significance. But that was a cop-out. That really meant anything we wanted it to mean. It was just a way to get people off our backs. And yeah, I had to be careful not to do anything that would contradict that policy. But halfway through my posting on the UFO desk, we had a kind of wave of sightings that blew this standard line out of the water. I mean, it was huge triangular craft flying directly over the UK, dozens, if not hundreds of witnesses, at least 2 military bases directly overflown. Lots of cops saw it, lots of military personnel saw it, and you know, something like that. Yeah, it changed my perspective.
Very hard to sweep that under the rug. What is the general consensus? They think that the general public couldn't handle knowing that there's possible UFOs in our atmosphere. Is it an hysteria thing? Is it just a classified, you know, government secret thing? Like, was it ever explained to you why you had to play it down so off, like, to that point?
I think part of it is just the embarrassment that we didn't want to admit that there might be things in our airspace faster, more maneuverable, more capable in many ways than the cutting edge of our own aviation. People used to say, oh, you can't go public with an extraterrestrial reality, if that's what we're dealing with. Right. I'm not 100% sure. People used to say there'd be panic in the street. I don't know about that these days. But religion is a complicated one. It's such a tinderbox at the best of times. You throw aliens into the mix and you know, who knows? But here, look, I'm going to be really controversial politically and say I used to think that people could handle it. And then COVID made me wonder.
Yeah.
We had contingency plans, right, for global pandemics, and yet half the world lost its collective mind, and we shut down the world over a virus that, it was very real and deadly, but it was only ever going to affect, you know, in a bad way, a very small proportion of the public who could be shielded, and yet we lost our minds.
Yes, and that's a great point.
Yeah, if we can't handle that, and we obviously couldn't, how could we handle something that might be literally beyond our comprehension?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, don't stop there. You can catch the full conversations right here, only on Planet Tyrus. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And you don't want to miss what's next. I'm telling you, bad things will happen. Oh, I'm just playing. Nothing bad's going to happen, but I won't be your friend.